edition of the SNDP Podcast Show on the Schmuck Sports Network, episode 39 tonight. You just listened to Freak Show by Division 1.1. Steven is here. Dan, how are you doing tonight?
Doing quite well. Thank you for asking. We have a fun-packed show tonight.
Yes.
We have the HGH scandal.
Because nobody talks about it, so we're going to do it.
Of course. But we do have a special guest. Joe, license plate guy from Giant fame, is going to be joining us, talk about his history of wearing license plates to games, and his fandom of being a Giant fan, and also what he's looking forward to this training camp so far, and this rest of the training camp season.
Yes. First off, we would like to thank Andy from 2 weeks ago.
Of course.
And Adam Rank from NFL.com.
Thank you to both men. They were really funny, especially Adam Rank, who is a side comedian on the side.
Yes.
Sharing
if you would like to know, he is feeling a lot better.
Yes.
So, just so everybody knows. It is episode 39, and we started some 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Which sport you want to do first?
We'll do hockey since we are not going to be talking about hockey this year, this episode.
So we'll do each player as each thing goes.
Okay. The first off, I'm going to go with the Islanders. I'm going to go with an obvious one. And okay, he did wear number 39. The first one, obviously, is Rick DiPietro.
Right.
A round of applause or boo, depending on which way you feel on that.
Depends on your mood.
Depends on your mood. I'll give it to Ricky. Islander until he got hurt every other day and got a 16-year contract.
15. Don't push
16,
us.
Same thing. Who cares? Anyway, Rick DiPietro episode and a Travis Green episode. He also wore 39 with the Islanders. So congrats to those two gentlemen. How about the Rangers?
So I did some research because I couldn't think of any Rangers to ever wear 39. The one guy who did, that everybody knows, is Doug Weight. One guy who also did, nobody will probably know, was a Ranger. Or number 39. I forgot the years exactly. Peter Laviolette.
Wow. Wow, you really went down and scraped the bottom of the earth.
When I saw that name, I said, that's the name I need to say tonight.
What, did he play? A game?
I don't know.
All right. That doesn't
He's got nice hair. I'll give him that.
Yeah, he does have dreamy hair. By the way, speaking of before I know we're going
dreamy hair
on a tangent. Oh yeah, Brian has a lot of dreamy hair. The drummer of Division 1.1. Actually, next Saturday, August 17th, they're going to be at the Stone Pony. So go check them out if you're in that area.
Asbury Park, right?
Asbury Park, yes. So go check them out. They're going to be trying to play new stuff. I'm sure they're going to try.
They're actually in the studio. If you follow them on Facebook, you actually saw a picture of them in the studio.
Okay.
Yesterday, posted by them, working on new stuff and practicing for the show.
All right, so definitely check them out at the Stone Pony next week. I'm sure they're going to kick ass like always, so why not go see them? For
updates, make sure you're following us on Facebook.
And them.
And also like them on Facebook as well, but also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, all social media you can think of. Anyway, we have a packed show, so we're going to go play a little more of their music right now. This week's song is Freak Show, so let's go play a little bit more of it, and we'll be right back.
All right, welcome back to the S&D podcast on the Schmuck Sports. You just listened to Freak Show by Division 1.1. We're going to switch gears, start off the show a little bit with New York Yankee baseball. Yeah.
They had some interesting news this week, huh?
Well, there's some guy named A-Rod. The news, if you haven't heard, the HGH scandal has come to a head. And everybody...
Finally,
yeah, it's been at least a couple months. The only player that didn't take his suspension is a guy named Alex Rodriguez. I don't know if people know him. He's pretty popular and he's pretty good.
Rodriguez.
And
I'm gonna have to Google him.
Yeah, so he's the only player who has not take the suspension and appealed.
Before we move forward on it, my dad brought up the best point about what he should do. Mm-hmm. Is shut up, take the suspension. If the Yankees cut him, he's guaranteed like $60 million for like 3 or 4 years after he gets cut. So even if he retires and never plays again.
Yeah, he's just a stubborn person, and
he wants to be a good role model.
He pretty much wants to, quote unquote, do his due justice, which he has every right to do. But is it the smartest decision? If everybody knows it, gonna come through in a ugly situation, why would you put yourself through all that drama and your team through that drama? It's just A-Rod being A-Rod and being selfish human being. And
we're recording on the 7th. Now, I want to talk to you about this. Something that happened during his game on the 6th.
What?
He's gone probably, as long as I can remember, wearing an elbow pad.
Yep.
On his left elbow when he comes to bat.
Yep.
Last night in his first at bat, he did not wear it.
Yeah.
Suspicious?
Yeah, just a little bit.
And think about it. He also got hit on the elbow, which is funny about it.
Yeah.
But suspicious that, one time, I forgot to wear my elbow pad?
Well, I'm sure I'm sure something funny happened. But you know how superstitious baseball players are more than any other athlete. It's kind of weird that he didn't wear it, but it is what it is. It's just, you're just trying to find a story, in my view. It's just one of those frustrating things. Like, he's just being a selfish, you-know-what, like A-Rod's known to do, and causing a circus in the Yankee clubhouse and the Yankees in general. And this year Yankee team, they're paying for it dearly. He came back in a series against the White Sox. The White Sox are the worst team in the league this year. The worst team in the league this year. And they lost the first 2 games already in the series. And it wasn't like, they won on a walk-off hit because they're the home team.
Right.
They kicked their butts, and it's just, what the hell is going on with the Yankees? I don't know. It's the pitching. It's the pitching. It's the no timely hitting. It's everything, and it's insane how the Yankees have gotten so crappy so quick. And the age and everything has come to a head, and it's really scary to see.
Is it time to start thinking along the lines of, when you look at who's up for the Yankees, like some of the names, you have no idea who they are. Some of these names. In their lineup, on their bench, and bullpen.
Yeah.
Is it time to say that the Yankees that we know and love are starting to
you would have to be respectable to think that. And it's crazy to think that. But all good things come to an end sometimes, and it's slowly reaching that point. And kind of crazy to think. Like, you put it on our Instagram and Twitter and Facebook last week, a crazy stat. The stat was the Yankees' third baseman the Cubs' pitching staff has more home runs this season than the Yankees' third baseman have combined.
Yeah. Was it that one, or was it the right-handed bats?
No, it was that one. That was the one that was like, whoa. I know that's just a useless stat.
Yes.
But that makes you think, yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes. I know Euclid was hurt a lot. He's hurt pretty much the whole season. So that's
another conspiracy we won't get into. Did he go to the Yankees because he knew he was hurt?
People need to lay off the conspiracy and stop drinking coffee.
It's like when the Mets sent Pedro Feliciano to the Yankees.
Yeah, come on. Knock it off. I don't know. I'm left speechless with the Yankees. Like, I don't know where they're gonna go. Jeter broke another hip. He's getting more strains. I think it's more now that he's 37 years old and he's rushing himself back from the injury and he's re-hurting himself. He just needs to slow down. He's not Superman anymore, and he needs to be healthy. And I know time is running out on his career, but you're not helping the team if you're rushing back and then hurting himself 2 days after him coming back. So that's going to be interesting to see. Who do the Yankees have this weekend?
The Angels.
Oh, okay, so 2 underachieving teams this year coming back and playing at Yankee Stadium. That's going to be...
Well, they play the Tigers over the weekend.
Oh, they play the Tigers over the weekend? Okay.
And then they'll be in Game 3 of 4 against the Angels by the time we record again.
Okay, so the homestand starts with the Tigers. They hope to just survive that mauling because the Tigers are just so much of a better team than them.
But luckily for the Yankees, they don't get Scherzer.
The Yankees have a very tough stretch the next week.
And then they go to Boston. And then they play the very, very underachieving Blue
Jays.
Jays.
Month's death. This month is death for the Yankees. There's no tough, easy out. Their only easy out was the White Sox, and they already lost 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. And they lost 2 out of 3 against the Padres. They're just not playing good baseball right now. And Joe Girardi is just scratching his head of, like, what else is there for me to do? I'm trying every possible way. Everybody's hurt, and it's a crappy excuse, but the players that they have on their team right now, other than Robbie Cano and a few other players, it's not getting it done. And this year is going to be the second time in past years, almost 20 years, that they didn't make the playoffs. And it's looking more and more that way. I know I was trying to be optimistic, but my look of them making a wild card is not happening this year. This month alone is just too ridiculous. Maybe they find a way to beat the Angels, but because the Angels maybe split a series against the Angels. They've been underachieving too, but they've been playing a little bit better as of late. So Yankees have a tough week ahead of them, and it's not going to get any easier after that. So Yankees have to buckle their chin straps. I know they don't have a chin strap, but they got to buckle them up and keep plugging away and find a way to keep winning ball games that they haven't had the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say about the Yankees. It's weird.
It is very weird. It's really weird that we're not going to be talking about the Yankees when it comes to October baseball.
Well, safe to say we're not talking about any local team when it comes
yeah, safe to say about that is definitely a guarantee. That's all I really have for the Yankees. Like, they have a tough month, and they're not playing well, so it's not looking great. But it's the Yankees. So as how crappy they've been the last week is how awesome they can be next week. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's baseball.
In a week from now, we could be talking about how hot the Yankees
and how
are.
much of a jackass we are for telling them that they're dead. But that's baseball season, as John Sterling would say. Let's see what the Yankees do this weekend against the Tigers. And
they got tough pitching rotation coming up for the Tigers. I know they end with Verlander. They don't get Scherzer.
They look out in that.
So they get that lucky. They play the Angels next week.
Then they play Boston, then the Blue Jays, then the Blue Jays.
Friday is Nova and Porcello.
Oh, that's going to be a game they should win.
Saturday is Hughes and Sanchez. Sunday's Pettit and Verlander.
That's they're going to lose 2 out of 3.
Ooh, and if you go to the game on Sunday, you get a recycling garbage bag.
Oh, nice.
With the Yankee logo on it.
Oh, boy, because that's what I want. Anyway, the Yankee then they play the Red Sox. Then they play the Angels, and then they play the Red Sox on the road. Then they're home against the Blue Jays, and then they're road against the Rays, then the Blue Jays, and then the Orioles. So.
You know what's interesting? Every game on this homestand, every home game they have left, actually, there's a giveaway.
Yeah.
Except for the Red Sox games.
Of course.
And that awkward moment when they play the Giants the second to last week of the season.
Yeah, that's weird.
I don't like the new interleague stuff.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it either.
Anyhow, that's a discussion for another time. But at this time, we're going to go play a little more Division 1.1, and we'll be back with the Metsies.
SNDPODCAST is in no way affiliated with, associated with, produced, or endorsed by Major League Baseball or any of its affiliates.
Welcome back to the S&D podcast. Once again, you just listened to Freak Show by Division 1.1. Before we start talking about the Mets, we completely forgot to name the Yankee who wore 39 for our show, episode 39, is Darryl Strawberry. The Straw Man.
We had to do it because, well, it's also perfect that we're talking about him right now because...
This is a good segue because we started with the Mets. The Mets have been the Mets. Scrappy as ever, finding ways to win. They won a very awesome game the night before. On
the 6th.
On the 6th, with the Mets finding ways to win. It's one of those things with the Mets is they're really...
That wasn't the Mets. That was Eric Young Jr.
EY and Lagares. Like we've been saying the last few weeks, Lagares has been earning my more and more every game.
Whatever he's been doing from July 1st on, he needs to keep doing.
Yeah, and he's learning every day, like I mentioned yesterday. By the way, remember how last week I called Danny Valdez-Man a jackass and everything like that?
Oh, is he still a jackass?
Oh, yeah. He's seen 50 games and never a mega game.
I think it's funny because he's on that list and Fernando Martinez is on that list. They're really crappy for guys who take PEDs.
Yeah, and it just goes to show you that not everybody's amazing that uses PEDs, and they need that extra boost just to get that money. I can't knock him for trying, but when you're hitting 288, 188, something ain't right.
You're definitely on the wrong stuff.
You're on the wrong stuff. You got to get checked out. But anyway, the Mets have been playing Mets baseball. A couple wins here and there. A couple crappy losses here and there. Sprinkle more losses than wins normally, unfortunately. But hey, that's life as a Met.
Before we move forward, we'll do our number for the week.
Oh, number 39 for the Mets.
I have two ones that nobody knows.
Okay.
Two guys who wore them when they were first called up, guys.
Yeah.
And then didn't end their seasons with them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. What I'm going to do is each guy, and then you have to tell me the number they ended with. How about that?
Okay, that's easy.
Manny Agbayani.
50.
Okay. He wore 39 when he was called up. And Jeff Kent.
12.
Okay. Also wore number 39 when he was called up.
Also, this week doesn't Bobby Parnell wear 39?
He does wear 39.
Yes, this episode is Bobby Parnell's episode 2. Congratulations, Bobby Parnell. Get
and
well
Benny
soon.
Agbayani in Hawaii.
Yeah, feel
know
bad.
he's listening.
Honestly, though, that really hurts that Bobby Parnell is on the DL. LaTroy Hawkins is closing, and Rizma is closing. Both guys who have closed before, but they are no longer closers anymore. So the Mets starting pitching has to take care of a lot of business.
You know what's interesting about LaTroy Hawkins? I heard this on the way home from class last night on the 6th.
Yeah.
You know he was a starter?
Yeah.
The last time he started a game was 1999, though.
Yeah. He was a starter for a while. He was too wild, and that's why they moved him to the pen.
1999 was the last time
Yeah.
he started. That's how long he's been playing. That's crazy.
It is crazy. But the this week's Met ball goes without saying Eric Young Jr.
Oh, yeah.
You could have debate with Lagares, but those two guys, ever since they came up, they've made the Mets outfield more respectable than what it was at the start of the season.
Which is part of the news from today was Lucas Duda ended his rehab assignment.
Okay.
Instead of bringing him to the pros,
They brought him straight to AAA.
They sent him straight to AAA because they're loving the defensive-minded outfield.
I have no
Just
problem
think about
with
it. If you have Marlon Byrd and Lucas Duda on your corners,
yeah,
you're not getting much defensive.
There's no way the Mets should take out Eric Young Jr. on the lineup right now. He's definitely earned his...
Or Lagares.
Or Lagares, but Lagares is playing center field, so there's no way he's getting touched. Obviously.
Well, Eric Young Jr. would end up...
Oh, yeah, of course, but... It is what it is. I'd rather have those guys who are playing their butts off every day than... I like Duda. I'm not saying he doesn't try, but every now and then he'll have a monster home run, and it'll be like, okay. It's just... It's going to be interesting to see how Flores does. He just called up Wilmer Flores, who was tearing it up in AAA.
Happy late birthday day late for him.
It's going to be interesting to see, because since now David's on the DL, he's going to be able to play third base. But when David comes back...
Where does he move?
Where does he move? And hopefully he earns his keep to stay on the team.
Honestly?
By the time David comes back, it'll be right around September call-ups. So that's the one benefit of David being out.
Well, the one thing
Even though there's never benefits of your best player being out on injury.
The one thing is that he may actually be going back to AAA because they are in a playoff run. The Vegas team and the Binghamton team are both in playoff runs, so it'll be interesting to see because apparently, they're winning. You might as well keep those two teams winning in the organization.
Yeah, that just sorry, my tongue is tied. That just goes to show you how awesome our farm system has been the last few years and how rich they've been the last few years. Because a few years back, we couldn't win a game in the AAA in the minor league system, and we had no one to come up and play. So
I got hurt. We had nobodies.
That's what's great to see. That just makes me more optimistic as a Met fan in the next few years. We have a lot of things going our way and a lot of young players on the farm that we could either trade away for good chips or they come up and play with the big guys and maybe they form into someone, the next David Wright or the next Jose Reyes or the next Matt Harvey. They could be the next guys and they could form into being an awesome team and maybe one day making the playoffs and maybe, dare I say it, winning a World Series. They're building themselves into that. And Travis Darnell is only a matter of moments away from coming up, hopefully real soon. He's coming, but he finally came back from his injury. So it's really, really, really close. We can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel as Met fans. We still have to steer away some clouds, which is expected. But I'm more happy than mad a lot of the nights, and this Mets team is what you expected.
You're okay with the losing because you could see the light.
But the way that when they win, it's just makes you happy because you see the progression every night and their willingness to win. It's like being an Islander fan a couple of years ago.
Right. You saw them starting to build around.
They're starting to build around. You know they're gonna suck, but you'll have those fun moments of watching them win and find a way to win, and they're just learning how to win now, and it's going to be fun to see. And I think Terry Collins does deserve an extension. I know he has his moments but every manager does because it's baseball. You play 162 days a year. I love to see you at work have 162 days straight. Perfect. You're not going to have that. So kudos to Terry Collins and the whole organization right now. It's going to be prove it or lose it this offseason for all the time.
Since 1900 through 32 starts, here's a Matt Harvey stat for you, by the way.
Okay.
242 strikeouts. I don't know if that counts tonight or not.
Probably not.
The only guys above him, Mark Pryor, 245.
Okay.
Yu Darvish is the only active player also on the list, 249. Bob Feller, 249. Deo Nomo, 267.
That just goes to show you how awesome he's been.
I'm not done.
Okay.
There's still two more names.
Okay, finish.
Harry Wood, 271.
Okay.
He shouldn't count because he had, 3 games in a row where he had 20?
Well, obviously he counts. But.
And Dwight, 282.
See, with the thing with all those players, unfortunately they all flared out because of injury and everything like that.
Yep.
But they all started their careers like how Matt Harvey is. And if he stays healthy, oh my God. Is just all I gotta say is, oh my God, we are in a treat for one of the most dominant pitchers ever to wear the Mets uniform, and hopefully doesn't develop a coke problem like Doc, and we have a.
Oh, he's not allowed anymore to do coke between innings, so instead it's PEDs.
All kidding aside, we have something in the making of our version of Doc Gooden and our version of Tom Seaver. We have that guy. We have him. We just got to take care of him. We have Zach Wheeler, who's supposed to be just as good of a stud. Hopefully he comes building up because he needs to learn as well. He has a good start and he has a rough, shaky start. That's just all comes with the process, and all of my fans have got to understand that. Matt Harvey comes once every billion years, and everybody knows that, but we take what Matt Harvey did for granted. And I'm excited, man. I'm really excited. And the Mets just got to keep on plugging away. After the series against the Rockies wraps up tomorrow, they go on their long West Coast trip, where the Mets season's known to come to an end.
Okay, football season started.
Yeah. And it's going to be interesting. They always find a way to lose these series. I want to see how the Mets stay above float. They get John Neese back this weekend, which is big news for them. I don't know how good he's going to be, obviously, because he's coming off a partially torn rotator cuff. But I'll take John Neese 80% other than some other pitchers in the league. So let's see what happens with that, and let's see if the Mets could still swim a little bit and just keep fighting and being able to talk about them until last game of the year. My Met ball, like I mentioned before, Eric Young Jr. Gets the Met ball this week.
I saw an interesting thing. Eric Young Jr. speed or Jose Reyes speed?
Oh, that's a no-brainer. Jose Reyes speed.
Think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey.
It's a question you can ask.
It is a good question, but I'd rather obviously have Jose Reyes speed. But Eric Young Jr. is a good poor man's version from what
I'd rather the poor man's version. He plays harder.
Oh, yeah. But Jose Reyes is one of a kind with that kind of speed. It's great. It's just great to see that we gave up Colin McHugh for him and pretty much nothing. And just a good that was a good
Congratulations,
find.
Colin McHugh. You've just been mentioned on our show this week.
No, it was a very good trade for the Mets, and we needed an outfielder, and he's finally.
We needed a spark plug too at the top of the lineup.
He needed a spark plug in the top of the lineup, and he just needed a change of scenery, and bam!
Just look at the play on the 6th that won the game.
Yep.
Grounder to the second baseman.
Yep.
Eric Young Jr.'s on second. He scores.
Yeah, he scores. And the diving catch the inning before and everything. He's he's earned his keep, and the Mets better find a way to keep him in the future. And hopefully he keeps it coming. He is a very good player, and he deserves everything he gets for here on out. Hopefully he stays hot.
I hope so. Like you said, what is it? Arizona, San Diego?
Yeah, Arizona, San Diego, Dodgers, and then probably San Fran.
No.
They already played San Fran, right?
It's Dodgers game in Minnesota.
Oh, that's
back
right.
home.
Okay.
They have that makeup game.
Oh.
Hopefully it won't snow this time. Imagine next year if the All-Star game if it snowed.
It's not going to snow in the All-Star game. Clown.
That would be pretty funny, though.
Anyway, that was the Mets this week. Let's go Mets.
Congratulations to Bobby Parnell. Benny Agbayani and Jeff Kent for being here.
Yeah.
Number 39s this week.
Mazel tov. Anyway, this was the Mets. We have a big football guest. Here he comes.
Sndp is in no way affiliated with, associated with, produced, or endorsed by Major League Baseball or any of its affiliates.
Proud to be a New York Giant. There ain't no team like the New York Giants. I'd rather be a New York Giant. I'm proud to be a New York Giant.
And welcome back to the SND Podcast Show on the Schmuck Sports Network. Stephen and Dan are here, and right now we'd like to welcome our special guest tonight via Skype. Welcome to the show, Joe, license plate guy.
What's up, license plate guy? How's it going tonight?
What's going on, fellas? What's going on? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem.
No problem.
Well, why don't we jump right into it? A lot of our fans don't know the background of the license plate guy. Why don't you tell us how that started?
Oh, man, I might not know the background of license plate guy. No, the license plate guy originated, back when I got my first car, I wanted vanity plates. And obviously there was only one thing I wanted. It was Giants. And I remember I think my parents took me to motor vehicles, and Giants was taken, and I was like devastated. I really was. And I think it was my mom's idea. My mom came up with, how about a 1 instead of the I? And, I was like, that's never going to happen. They're not going to allow it. I didn't know what I was talking about. And sure enough, G1 Ants was available, and, that's the plate that's been on my car ever since I was 16. So I got it, and, great. It was on my car, and the football season came around, and my father, I think, he was like, you should wear that to a game, put it on your shoelaces. I'm like, Dad, there's no way I'm wearing a license plate to a game. So he dared me. And then, of course, once you dare a kid, I definitely put it on. And the Giants won. And a couple of people in the section, the old stadium, section 137, they were like, oh, you got to wear that all the time. And I'm like, you got it. And they won that the next couple of games, which back then was very rare. And that was it. I started wearing it a lot. And license plate guy was born.
Yeah, I met you last summer camp, training camp last year, Joe. And I don't know, you don't wear them anymore, do you? Because I for wearing it for a second, my neck almost snapped in 3 places.
You know what? I wear. They don't miss a game. I never not wear them.
And another question: how long does it take for security to let you search you down at visiting stadiums?
I'll tell you a couple. It's funny you ask that question because there's a couple of problems here. When license plate guy was, I guess, up and becoming, I couldn't get 4 or 5 plates in. Now I'm up to 31. So when I reach the gates to go, I'm stopped all over the place. And it's funny because I get the same reaction. It's like, what the heck are these? Like, they don't even know whether they should not call the police. They don't even know what to do. But, now that license plate guy has become a little bigger, it's cool. It's really cool to come upon security or whoever, and as soon as they see the hair, they're like, "Oh, it's license plate guy." They already know that I'm carrying him.
So, what's your favorite plate that you have? If you had to choose one,
other than the first one, of course, because we all know that's going to be your number one because that's your.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that because I probably would have said G1 Ants, but probably hate Dallas. Everybody loves that plate, and although I'm a big believer in cheer for your own team, like you should be positive about the Giants and not negative about any other team. I really believe in that. I don't always stick to it, but I believe it. I probably would go with hate Dallas just because every other fan loves that plate.
We can't disagree. Yeah, we see your Facebook getting bombarded. I know Steve tags you in every other picture, along with myself, with the Dallas thing. And last year, after the first game of the season, I'm like, Steve, you got to calm it down a little bit, because I was getting heat. I'm like, I love hating Dallas, but we got to tone it down just a little bit. But honestly,
there's no such thing as turning it down.
there absolutely isn't ever turning anything down.
It's okay to argue and to rip a team and take it. You can't give it and not accept it.
Absolutely.
If somebody wants to rip the Giants, I'm all for it. If they make good points, or the Giants haven't won this or haven't done that, no problem. You want to make a good argument, let's make the argument. I have no problem with that. As long as it's clean and you could laugh at the end, I'm totally cool with that. And I act the same way when I'm on the road. If you want to talk or you want to argue, no problem. Just make sure it's kept where it doesn't get out of control.
Thank you for leading me into the next question. Since, if not a lot of people may not know, Joe goes to every single Giant game, not just the 8 home games and the preseason games included. He goes to every single road game as well. Where, if you had to say, what was the toughest crowd, probably like the Philadelphia crowds and other crowds, what would be the most surprising crowd that we might not know about that might have been the toughest crowd for you to be experiencing as a visiting fan?
All right. Good. Again, great question. I mean, listen, I've been to every stadium twice, maybe 3 times. It's a difficult question to answer because, this is going to be I think my 12th year, complete year.
Wow.
And I mean, I've been everywhere from, London to Minnesota when the game was canceled and I had to get my butt to Detroit. The Giants didn't even make it to Minnesota, and I did. They got stuck in Kansas City. I sit front row behind the Giants bench, okay? That's non-negotiable. That's just my seat. So, one, because obviously the plates hit the ground, and I guess I don't have to carry 50 pounds around my neck. And 2, it doesn't matter how much crap that I take. If I don't want to turn around, it will never become a conversation. You could try and get my attention all you want. I don't care. You can talk about the hair. You can talk about the plates. It doesn't matter. I never have to turn around. And that has to kill fans, like, this guy's not going to engage me. And no, I don't. But if I had to pick, it wouldn't be Philly. Because don't forget, guys, people that sit in the upper deck, they're going to get it more than anybody. There's less security.
Of course.
There's more drinking, in my opinion. It's just not the same when you sit right behind the bench. I have cops. I have security. Shoot, I have the offensive line that would come to my aid. So it's very different. If I had to pick, without even opening up my mouth, I had a couple of beers thrown at me in Cleveland.
Wow, really? The Monday night football game when we were 10-0, right?
Yes, and let me tell you something. Brandon Edwards, remember, he went absolutely crazy on us, and they kicked our asses, and the Browns fans were still after me.
That was not a fun night. But
you know what they say, Cleveland rocks.
that one too. But again, I've been to San Francisco a billion times, and you hear about how bad. I had phenomenal times at San Francisco.
Not even at the tailgate, though?
What did you say?
Not even during the tailgate, because you're definitely tailgating.
I got to walk around with the plates on, and but I'm also engaging. I'm not going to flip anybody off or tell you that your team sucks or this and that. I might think it, but I'm not going to walk around and do it. But you'll get the people that are like, get the hell out of here, no problem. But you also get people that want you to come in and, ride you a little bit and trash talk, and then you have some laughs and you leave.
Yeah, I wouldn't be allowed to go to any visiting games.
Especially Philly.
No, I would definitely be quiet, but if like a couple interceptions or a couple things not going our way, it would get real ugly real quick. But I give you, that was another question. How do you get that specific seat, even for a road game, especially, there's season ticket holders, yada, yada, yada. How lucky do you get that break every road game? Like, Do you have the?
It's not. It's difficult, but I had problems. I would say the first couple of years doing it. And guys, I haven't been sitting front row behind the Giants bench for this entire run. I only did it starting in 2007, and
That's a good
I'm
year
going
to
to sit
start.
behind. Yeah, exactly. And then after they did that, what was I going to do? Not do it every single year? I'm just as superstitious as Bill Parcells. So I definitely was going to sit front row. So I met so many people in the years that I've been doing this that I have people in the ticket industry now. Now, will I pay extra? I do. I pay a lot of money for my tickets. And one of the misconceptions about Giant fans, at least the ones that don't particularly like what I do for some odd reason, I don't know how Giant fans could dislike
I don't
other Giant
understand
fans.
it either.
But, the team doesn't pay for anything. So, do I pay a lot more? I do. Do I see it online sometimes? Maybe online has, 2-3 games out of the 8 that you could buy? Yes. But I know months and months and months before it ever makes it online or anywhere, on NFL Ticket Exchange or StubHub or wherever, I know I'm covered. So it's worth the extra money for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. I mean, a couple of years ago, I did the New Orleans trip, and we played them on Monday Night Football.
Not a good trip.
Now, actually, it was a good trip except for the game.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
It was a very good trip except for the game. And you know what? It was actually one of the coolest places. It was just extremely loud, and despite the outcome of the game, just being there, the atmosphere was just incredible.
Oh, come on, you're talking about New Orleans. Yeah, of course.
I mean, all the people around us, they were ripping us before the game, ripping us during the game. Come third, fourth quarter, they were all just like, good game.
Yeah.
They were all just friendly. I mean, I think they were all related.
Again, you'll always have the pockets of bad fans everywhere.
Of course.
Everywhere. I'm sure we have it at MetLife as well.
Yeah, we.
You're always going to get those pockets, but you go with the good and you go with the bad.
Absolutely. Here's another question. Since you're a license plate guy and a lot of players, you're sitting front row, everybody knows you weekly and week out. What has been the coolest player actions? We see you with pitchers hanging out with Giants all the time. What would be your who would be your best friend on the current Giant team or even past players? I know a lot of past players, too many to name. Unfortunately, they are not longer Giants with us anymore. Guys like Chase Blackburn, who I absolutely loved. Canty.
Before you continue, don't forget, once a Giant, always a Giant.
Of course.
It's true. Listen, I was just a teenager, a young teenager, but the first person I ever became friendly with was Joe Morris. And to this day, we are best friends, and Joe was actually in my wedding party.
Oh, wow.
So, and I was just a teenager at the time, and, I've been doing this a long time, guys. If you're a Giants fan, it was bred into your family. If your dads were Giants fans, you were Giants fans. If their dads were, they were. Relationships, honestly, I would tell you, I think I have a relationship with all 53 players on that roster. Yes, I miss Chase already. I mean, we saw each other maybe 2-3 times a week. Movie nights, hamburger night, whatever it was. I definitely miss one of my all-time favorites, and we were extremely close. We're still close. Brandon Jacobs. And there's too many to name on this year's team. I'm good friends with Henry. I'm good friends with Mark Hertzlick. I mean, Bear Pasco's one of my best friends now. So you're always going to form some friendships, and that's what I get most from Giant fans is how do you do that?
Yeah, that was pretty much my question. I'm very jealous. I'm not going to lie.
First of all, guys, they're down-to-earth guys like you and I having this conversation.
Exactly.
They really are. It's just that they play pro football.
Yeah.
They're really down to earth guys. They do eat cheeseburgers, guys. They do like to go on roller coasters. They do. I mean, you know, they do like to go in a swimming pool. Like they're down to earth dudes with girlfriends and wives, and you know, they're just good dudes. So how do you get that way? Well, how would you like to see this ugly blonde-haired guy at every single time you turn around, he's there again? And that's basically what I do. If you're at practice, you see me. If you're at home games, you see me. If you're at away games, even in the hotel, you'll see me. So a lot of them are curious, like, dude, what do you do? And then you just get into conversations. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been sitting at, the hotel bar on a Saturday, I don't know, just watching a college football game and having any one of the Giants, doesn't matter who, makes no difference. Booth, come over, hey, what's the score? Down by 10. And he'll just pull up a seat, and next thing you know, you're engaged in a conversation. You know you hit it off with the guy, you guys become friends. I mean, that's really how it works.
That's awesome. Okay, so I got to ask, you mentioned your wedding. Did you wear any license plates at the wedding?
Two things I did at the wedding. The cake topper was obviously a bride dragging the groom away in a Giants helmet. Okay. And I did, my sign-in book was the 2007 championship book that you had to sign in.
Nice. That's awesome.
Training camp. Let's talk a little training camp. I mean, have you missed a day? Let's be honest.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Have you missed a day of training camp yet?
I have not missed a day. Some of the days that I can't, you know what, that's not true. Because the rainy days I take off, and they've had a couple that they brought inside, and I'm not hanging out. I'm not a press member. I'm a regular Giants fan guy. Maybe I get a little more than the next guy, but I'm a Giants fan. So when it's close to you, it's close to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But other than that, no. When it's open, I'm there. And I got to tell you, comparing it to Albany, it's a no-brainer. I loved Albany, guys. I mean, I loved Albany. But the first time practice was rained out and you were able to pick up and move 20 yards inside, you knew that the Giants would never go to Albany again.
I 100% agree. This year was my third year. I made it a tradition with my little cousin that I'd take him to the first training camp of the season. We did that last year, and we did it the year after the lockout. So we're trying a little good luck charm. And, of course, you're always there. It was nice to see you hanging out with everybody, being casual as always. If you've never seen Joe at a football game, Giant game, go up to him and say hi. Let's talk about a little bit of players other than him taking billion pictures with his license plate. What are you excited for this upcoming season? Obviously, our offense is going to be stacked. Hopefully, with injuries to a key minimum, that means you, Akeem Nicks, and yada yada yada. My biggest concern this year, and I've been a big believer in our linebacking core. I think this year is going to be finally the year that Herzlich and Rivers and one of my first.
I don't even know why you're talking about linebackers when you don't even need them. They're not going to get past our line.
Fair enough.
Makes a valid point.
Our line is, obviously, all jokes aside, the line is, what do they average? 800 pounds a man? I mean, they're absolutely insane. They're going to be so much better than last year. I mean, we were terrible last year defensively. I believe it starts with the line, and I believe that they're going to be unbelievably stacked up and incredible. As far as the backers, listen, they're athletic.
Yeah.
They're going to be all over the field. I believe you're not going to be able to throw that much against our linebacking core. They are going to cover them tight ends pretty well. I think it's going to be a battle, and I absolutely love the fact that no one has a secure position 100%. It just makes you train and work a little harder.
Absolutely, I agree. One of the key guys, I really hope he just finally got off the PUP list. I really hope to God or some other football god that Terrell Thomas makes it onto the field this year. Maybe not to be the best cornerback or even a safety like they rumored a few times. I really hope he gets onto the field this year. God knows what would have happened if he was healthy 2 seasons ago. And it's really watching players on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, just watching his struggle every day. You just can't help but not root for the guys like him and Herzlich and all the other guys. I'm strongly in favor of the guys building their way up, and I think this year is finally going to be the year Herzlich's going to take over in the middle. I really hope so, because that.
Hey, listen, it's there for him. It's there for him. All he's got to do is step up. I mean, in his roles last year when Chase was not in, he was 50-50. You know, I mean, it's his for the taking. It really is. And as far as him starting again, it's there for him. I mean, I'm excited for him.
Of course. We all know the story, so I think this is going to be finally his year, and hopefully Spencer as well. I loved Spencer last year on special teams, and he did make key plays on the defense last year.
That's funny. Not a lot of people bring up Singer. I'm glad you brought him up. He is he's a keeper. He's a strong candidate. He really is. And you know what? Getting back to your T squared, you know, I really hope he makes it on the field as well. And I'm not one to talk about injuries because, you know, again, I'm superstitious. Mm-hmm. Let's just day by day.
Of course. Get
out of practice. Everybody's fine. It's a little wet outside. Go inside. I'm good with that too. You know, Henry will be back. Maybe week 1, maybe week 2, maybe week 3, whatever. He'll be back strong. I believe Bear Pasco. I know we just signed another guy, but I believe Bear Pasco will be starting at fullback, and I believe we will be just fine.
I absolutely agree with you on that. The one person I'm excited for this year, actually, there's 3 guys. I'm sorry. I'm excited for Ruben Randall. I think Ruben Randall is going to have a breakout year. He's going to be better what Mario Manningham was a few years ago, so that's scary.
Totally agree.
I think David Wilson has a shot to being a Pro Bowl running back if he does get his carries and loads. And our new tight end, Myers. I think he's going to be a stud this year, especially with Eli and how much he loves throwing to tight ends. He was great last year for the Raiders, and that team is awful. You're on your money. You know, you bring up great points, but there's other points to consider. Is Myers going to block? I mean, Myers has to block to play. We all know he can catch 250,000 balls. I'm okay with that. But guess what? Bear can catch too. And Adrian, don't sleep on Adrian. Yeah, he's been talk of the camp as well. You're absolutely right with that.
He is no joke. I'm telling you. And if Myers wants to be out there and he wants to play every down, then he has got to block. And as far as the running game is concerned, I'm looking at 2 backs for 1,000 yards this year.
I agree.
I really am. And I do believe that Brown will be the starter, not Wilson. But that's me.
I could see where you're coming from with that, because he's a little bit better with the pass protection and everything like that, and we want to hide David Wilson a little bit for the trick plays, and even though the Giants don't run any trick plays, but that explosive play on 3rd down opposed to Andre Brown, who's a little bit slower, but he can definitely make a couple cuts. He was our unsung hero last year. Those couple games.
And listen, Wilson's just a ridiculous athlete. The guy is a stud. I mean, he is a stud.
Turbo.
But every down pound, I don't know. I just look at Andre Brown with. Don't get me wrong. Like I told you, I'm really going with 1,000 for each. I really am, and I'm not even. That's not even far-fetched, by the way.
I hope so. If obviously health, we all know that. But I hope so. Andre Brown definitely earned his keep last year. If it wasn't for an injury, God knows how much more he could have done last year.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know what's funny? People have been asking me at Giants camp, but what about Jomo? You know, was he going to have a breakout year? You know, he might not even make the squad.
Interesting.
I don't think. I think that he was very hungry last year. I think he had just a ridiculous preseason. He did not come into camp hungry, and you know, I love guys that come in hungry. Like, oh my God, the monster is going to be the monster. I watch him get off that ball. He's going to be phenomenal. And what I like more is I wait till after practice. I wait till practice ends, and I actually sit there and I watch. And it's great to see, like, Kiwanuka pulling him aside, spending an extra 15, 20 minutes working on, you know, fundamentals. I love that. You look over to the other side, and I see, you know, Jaquan Williams, don't sleep on him either, very fast and physical and athletic linebacker. I love to see him working with Adrian Robertson, getting off the ball, you know, linebacker to tight end. I mean, I'm telling you, the difference between this camp and any other camp is, I believe, there are positions to be had. There are people that will go out there and fight for their positions. I don't think we've had that in years past like this.
I absolutely agree with you. Last year was one of those we won the Super Bowl kind of things. It was a lot different feel from the first Super Bowl. The second Super Bowl of last year was like, all right, we're here. We got to do what we got to do. We're good, but our goodness is going to carry us over the top more times than not. I think this year they're going to be a little bit more hungrier. And I see us winning the division again, hopefully. It's just they got to stay hungry and not have those WTF games. And we had way too many games.
As a Giants fan, we all know that we're getting another 2 games of that. You know, you're talking to the wrong person if you expect me to say anything less than 13, 14 victories.
Hey, we want that.
Yeah, I have extremely rose-colored glasses. I'm the wrong fan to be subjective. You know, as far as I know, Giants win the Super Bowl every year. So when it doesn't happen, I'm totally surprised. So I expect to go from the practice field to across the street in February. I really do.
Well, hey, I hope so. That would be the first team ever in Super Bowl history.
I would love to see that. This is the SNDP podcast.
Everybody would. You know, listen, we're only good as number 10 takes us, guys. So,
absolutely.
Right.
One last question. Do you think this year is finally Antrell Roll's year being the captain? Even though I think he's already the captain on the defense already, do you think this is the year he actually wears the C on the jersey? I think so. I think he's deserved it.
He is always the one to step up on that D. I think the camaraderie between all the D-backs only got stronger. Aaron Ross, which was a part of that, and who looks pretty good in camp, by the way. I mean, the vacation in Florida did him well, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm sure it was great.
Yeah, I do think Antrell will have that. He deserves it. He's a veteran, and I agree with you. I think he'll be spotting that.
All right, Joe. Since you have been at camp, why don't you give us two names that nobody talks about or really knows about that you see on the field that you expect?
All right, I'll give you 2. Nobody talks about Adrian Robinson, the tight end. They really don't. And I do believe that he is going to be a surprise. And I do believe that Bosworth will be a surprise.
Hey, I definitely agree with you on Robinson. I've from everything I've been reading, and even the first practice I went to, he gets it now. And Mike Pope is the best, greatest tight end coach ever. And with him pretty much redshirting last year, with Mike Pope being on him the whole entire year, definitely was probably one of the greatest things ever to happen for him.
You are dead on. I mean, this is exactly what happened to Greg Jones. Greg Jones out of Michigan State. Greg Jones was a very good linebacker who's now playing, I believe, for the Titans. Went to the Jaguars and now on the Titans. Greg Jones just didn't get it. He just didn't get it. Was a physical specimen and could knock your head off. But he didn't have Mike Pope. He wasn't on the same side of the ball. So you are dead on with giving some credit to Pope and seeing what could happen with Adrian this year. as far as bat work, if you watch him, he's very athletic, very quick, very strong.
Well, this is the S&D Podcast Show on the Schmuck Sports Network. Joe, we would like to thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Joe.
I appreciate it, guys. Anytime. Go Giants.
Go Giants.
Go Giants.
Maybe we might set something up with him.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Whatever you want. Hey, listen, I head out on the road. I head on the road come September, and that's it. I'm away, whether it's home or away, for 19 weeks.
Yeah, he's a little busy during the season.
A little busy, man.
Hey, listen, we can do this.
You're living the life.
Do this on the road. We can do this on the road. Doesn't matter. It's just a phone call, guys.
Oh, it is.
That's all it is. Hey, you're living the life. Keep it up. Go Giants. And can't wait to see you out in MetLife this year.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
S&D Podcast is in no way affiliated with, associated with, produced, or endorsed by the National Football League or any of its affiliates.
Proud to be a New York Giant. There ain't no team like the New York Giants. I'd rather be a New York Giant. I'm proud to be a New York Giant.
Welcome back to the S&D Podcast Show on the Schmuck Sports Network. Once again, that was Division 1.1 with Freak Show. Dan, you have some info we mentioned in the intro one more time?
Yeah, don't forget, August 17th, they're going to be playing at the Stone Pony in Central Jersey. Go ahead, take a look at them. If you're in the area, stop by, listen to some awesome heavy metal, and just bang your head against their awesome noise, and just tell them what's up. The more people, the better. To continue to support them on Facebook, and do they have Twitter? I forget.
They don't really use it.
They don't use it. Just go on Facebook and like them on Facebook, Division 1.1. And they're great guys, as we always mentioned. Thank you again for them for always having us on, letting us play their music. Obviously,
and all the support they give us.
They don't have to do that. So on a weekly basis, thank you for that. Tonight was an awesome show. Before we forget, tonight's episode was 39. We forgot to mention our giant person who wore 39. The only one that
we should have asked Joe for an old school guy.
We should have. But
the only guy I could think of.
Tyler Sash right now wins it today by default, since he is the current giant who wears 39. Anyway.
The Jet, by the way, just so we can mention them. Johnny Johnson, he was a running back in the early 90s.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, thank you to Joe again.
Yes.
Joe is arguably one of the biggest Giant fans I know. That
makes us look like not Giant fans.
No, I wouldn't go that far, but
when you go to every game every weekend, then I'll call you the biggest.
Oh no, he's the biggest Giant fan. But honestly, it just goes to show you how awesome it is to be a. I like to think of Giant fans as one big family, and he's like that uncle that everybody knows, and he's that awesome uncle that you go, "Hey Joe, what's up?" And he goes, "Hey, what's up? Let's go Giants!" And every time you go see him. If you're gonna be tailgating, if you're going to any Giant games this year, if you see license plate guy, be sure to say hi. I don't get people who don't like license plate guy. He doesn't do anything. You're just jealous of him because he's friendly with the fans, players on the team. I know you want to be friends with half the team like he is. So if you see Joe around, tell him what's up. Go Giants. If you're like another team, tell him Giants suck. Whatever. He's cool with it. He's going to flow with the punches. But thanks again for him coming on, telling us his stories of his life as a Giant fan. We can definitely relate to most stuff, but being able to go to every game, every season, is pretty special. And I wish one day I could ever do that. Highly doubt it, but that's something that would be awesome to go to. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Since you already go to eight of the games.
I'm happy to go to 8 of the games.
You're halfway there.
I'm okay with going to 8.
Yeah. I'm okay going with 2 or 3. So, with that being said, thanks, Joe. Once again, thank you to everybody that's listening. Be sure to check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter,
everything you
YouTube, Tumblr, iTunes, of course. And thank you for everybody who's supported us so far.
Yes, and we're working on getting an Android app for our podcast as well. So stay tuned for that. So everyone can be able to listen to it every week. No problem. But for now, if you need it on your Androids, check it out. If you go to the link, it's sndpodcast.podbean.com, and it'll send you to the site where we post all of our shows. You can listen to them and download them there if you'd like to.
Yeah.
So thank you again for all the support, everybody. Thanks again to Joe. Preseason football is officially back this weekend.
The Giants start against the Steelers. Oh, hum.
Jets are home against nobody.
I forget. It doesn't matter. All we know is Mark Sanchez is going to start.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. The world of everything stopped for 20 minutes.
The world's coming to an end if he throws one bad pass, so watch out, Mark Sanchez.
I kind of want him to throw one pass. It's preseason.
We'll get into the Jets talk next week. This week was just full awesome Giant talk. That's for next week and coming up shows. Don't worry.
Coming up, we'll be having our NFL preview show coming up soon.
I got a lot of good things coming out for that, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, thank you for listening and have a great night.
Good night, guys.